Guys, back at it again. The update we did today again now waiting. Sharp question and answer. Still on the APU matter. I drop updates about the APU and some other person asked a question. The person named now Ngambi AJ. Your question makes sense, so nice one. The question where he asked now waiting for Facebook. He say, Captain, when is it safe to turn off the APU? After engine startup, after taxi, after takeoff, or after a particular altitude? Correct, guy. So now, to answer that question, it depends on the kind of operations that the aircraft is doing at that time. There are some places, one is the location. There are some places where we say they need special procedure for them to take off. Or let me start, for normal operations, let's say out of Lagos here, no special procedures is required. Once we finish starting up the engines, like I made mention on that video for the APU, automatically the engines, the logic of the aircraft based on the automatic modes them where the switches they will take over the functions where the APU they give, which is the electricity, the pressurization, the bleed and all that. You could take over all those things, do waiting, leave the APU will just be on its own. At that time, the crew will go shut down the APU. We go shut off the APU. That is for normal operation. So immediately after startup of the engines, we shut off the APU. Now, if there is an operation where we say, now waiting, now let's say, based on the special procedures waiting for the takeoff area of that kind of airport, where you need maybe especially places where mountains they, where we say they need to climb fast to clear the mountains. You get what they call no bleed takeoff. That no bleed takeoff for this aircraft is ECS of operations, ECF environmental control system of operations. So waiting they go do that time, we say if that kind of airport get that kind of procedure, waiting they go do, we say they go do waiting after starting up the engines, they go leave the APU on. But for inside this our computer where we they set up for our waiting for all the FMS or FMC depending on what they call them, we go set something for the ECS page. Get place where we they set them up, we go set them up, we go now put that ECS to waiting to off. If we put them to off, we leave the APU on. The APU go the supply waiting, it go the supply the air condition and pressurization inside the cabin. Until waiting, we take off. After, based on the logic of this aeroplane, after 500 feet, the aircraft automatically will go back to the normal distance because at that time we don't clear the mountains. Or if we need to climb fast based on any procedure where they are around the airport, we have to do waiting. We have to leave the APU, make the APU supply pressurization, AC inside the cabin, then so that the engine will get all the power where it gets. Nobody say you go to supply some for the engine, they supply some for cooling. So you know go to do the cooling. Engine nobody do the cooling, you could do waiting. You go use every power where they inside to climb out that mountain. As they climb them out, then after 500 feet, when the crew they do after takeoff checklist, they go now put the APU off. All right. So now so it be now that time now basically they off the APU. Aside that, APU can walk till 39,000 feet for this aircraft. 737 why I've been flying at 37,000 feet, I think so, or something like that. You know. So that is it for it. So if you have any further question on this one, I beg drop them under the comment section so that we all will continue to learn and know what's in the shell. or inside aeroplane and aviation. I still love you guys, Captain Callistus, always.